How appropriate that it's Ford, right? The company that helped revolutionize America in the late Industrial Revolution is now expected to crank out ventilators at a rate that would probably make Henry happy. More than 100 units a day, about 7,200 a week, 50,000 by the end of June. That is a positive amidst all the negative triggered by the government response to the Wuhan coronavirus. Joining me now from Dallas, Texas, co-founder and chief strategist of GDP Advisors, Seth Denson. Seth, I like to look at the silver linings to some of this stuff, and it's nice to see certain aspects of America working together, and I do think Henry Ford might approve of what's going on there right now. But I wonder the big picture here, after they produce all of these ventilators, I assume with a Ford stamp on it, by the way, and we have a stockpile, I hope that we retain a strategic stockpile at the federal level, but more importantly at the state level. If these governors, Mario Cuomo and is screaming for ventilators, and also Gavin Newsom screaming for ventilators and more equipment, if they haven't learned, they are responsible at the state level to stockpile this stuff.
Yeah, I think the reality of the situation is what we're finding is these governors are trying to look to anywhere else to point the finger. And I'm sad to see that. But the reality is each governor is the executive of their own state. And what they need to realize is unless their state has state-owned factories, the private industry is manufacturing these things. So let's work together. Let's recognize that we can send these things where they're needed the most. But when we start pointing the fingers, nobody actually gets what they're trying to get out of the deal.
You know, I really worry about some of these workers right now. And yeah, we have this $2.2 trillion rescue package that's going to allow a lot of people to collect unemployment, apparently full unemployment, and maybe even more than the money they were making employed, for example, at the retail level. That said, you know, we're hearing reports Amazon's doing very well right now, but these brick and mortar retail locations are suffering quite heavily right now, and they're laying off a lot of people.
They are. And, you know, I was talking about it earlier today with someone, and I said that, you know, the government put the cart before the horse by tackling the FMLA situation, thus expanding unemployment benefits before it did the small business bailout. And the reality is it's hard to put toothpaste back in the tubes. Many of these businesses have already laid off people, and they're going to continue to do that long before any stimulus money is ever even going to get into their bank.
And the consumer confidence rate comes out, and it's dropping. Well, of course. I mean, you know, what would you expect when you shut down half the country? It's unfortunate, but this is the reality we're living in right now. And you know, some people are projecting 30% unemployment. Okay, you know what? I think we might even see that very soon. Maybe at the end of this week, you know, we'll see numbers that are astronomical again like we saw last week. But I also believe that like a rubber band, our economy is going to spring back as soon as these boots get off the throat of the economy.
Yeah, we talked about it a number of times, Graham, that our economy, thank God, it was where it was before this started. Because at the end of the day, it's going to bounce back. This isn't an economic recession. This is a healthcare pandemic. Once it's eradicated, once eliminated, I predict that the economy bounces back very, very quickly, much like you just said.
And I think it's going to be the summer of great content if you happen to be invested in the stock market. Seth, thank you.